Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at our market leading stocks via our proprietary scans for Friday, March 21st, 2014. Note that this is going to be option expiration Friday, and of course we need to pay attention to that and be prepared for some somewhat muted trading as far as ranges goes, which is typically what we see. But nonetheless, what we're seeing from our scans is we're definitely seeing a bias to the buy side. The bias to the buy side in the sector in front of us, which is the NASDAQ patch, is pretty pronounced. We've got a smattering of different kinds of signals. We've got reverse pressure signals showing up here. We've got some CPS signals and a couple of contra candles. But definitely the bias is to the upside here. CLAC is putting up a upside CPS condition. That's about 2.5% above the day's open, having a really, really strong day. SanDisk is also really strong today, but isn't as up as much as CLAC, and it's starting to pull back off the high and looks to be putting in a RPS signal. We do have a volume bump here in the SanDisk as well. We've got a big volume bump in First Solar that's following through with volume from the previous day. It's actually up again today, so they haven't been able to retreat that back down. I'm sure all of the guys who were short options that were bearish are scrambling to cover right now, and it's definitely putting a bid under the stock for right now. Financials a little less bullish, a little less decisive than the NASDAQ patch, but the one thing to take away here is, though, most of the signals on the upside are of the CPS variety. There's a couple of real strong days out there. JP Morgan's having a huge day, not quite 3% above the day's open on increased volume. This is pushing out to new 52-week highs, so real strong action there. Morgan Stanley has an upside CPS, good volume, nice distance above the day's open. Wells Fargo, same thing. Good volume, good distance above the day's open. Have the same thing in CLAC, but CLAC was higher earlier and is now setting up. I'm sorry, Bank of America is setting up with a that's BAC, setting up with a downside RPS signal. So that might be one of the ones that that could see a little tail off from the option sellers, paring that back a little bit tomorrow. Taking a look at the energy patch, this one's universally positive right now. We don't really have any sell signals locked in. Arch Coal, ACI having a big day. BP having a big day on good volume. Big day here in PBR. That's 6% above the day's open, and that's on volume. And that was on the scans yesterday as well. Moving on to the market generals, here we're definitely less decisive. Just a couple of buy indications. A couple of signs of weakness. Hewlett-Packard, after having a couple of really strong sessions, is starting to pull back a bit here. That's showing a VWAP deviation where it's getting hit and stretched down below the VWAP. That one is on increased volume. We've got a contra candle in Pfizer, and UNH is having a really strong day to the upside. Keep an eye on that one. Today was a tough day, and that one wasn't. I didn't really see any good intraday opportunities, but that one's had some nice relative strength. Moving on to the housing, a little better to buy here, but we do have a couple deviations. They're both to the downside. Hovnanian and DHI are going to be going out well below their days open, which is not particularly impressive. FedEx is trading some decent volume today, but not a lot of movement. UNP is the one that's moving the best, but that one's on light volume. That one's about 1% above the day's open. Moving on to the commodities, definitely not where the action is. Look at the volume deviations here. Everything's to the downside. FCX has a contra candle to the upside. U.S. Steel is trying to sort this out. Right now playing with an RPS signal to the downside. That's almost 3% above the day's open. So that could see a little headwind tomorrow. Newmont Mining, NEM, and Silver Wheaton, ABX. Those are the three names that are really performing the best. Getting some good distance above the day's open. All right, folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.